Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Council, for the discussion, and members of the public, and staff, and our developer for the presentation thus far. This project has some history, and this parcel has history. You know, it's interesting hearing neighbors talking about cutting down trees to build housing, to build infill housing, not just residential housing. You know, when they maybe weren't complaining about the trees being cut down for their own houses to be built. I ask residents that live in that neighborhood, would you have fought for your house not to be built, giving you an opportunity to live in this community and have a place to call home? Because that's what you're doing for someone else today. You're preventing them from having a place to call home. And it's not just another rural residential development that is sprawled out, which goes against climate goals, which cuts down more trees rather than building upward, protecting open space, and that continues to contribute to our emissions and climate issues in our community and in the planet. This project has come before the city. This is the third time it's being brought forward in the third approach. Yes, this project is complicated, and yes, this parcel is tricky, but I think that the developer has really made a strong effort to do something that will work. You know, we have a climate emergency in place and a housing emergency in place, and rarely can we address both of those emergencies with one agenda item. And so here we are with that opportunity to do just that. You know, this project really is a trailblazer when it comes to going all electric and being infill, being adjacent to a bus stop, allowing people to leave their cars at home. It's going vertical while being respectful to the neighbors, and it is preserving open space, although there is some nuance with that portion of the project. I asked Sarah Dar, who's with the housing staff at the city, how many folks are on our housing lists for affordable housing. And she mentioned to me that it's between 1,600 and 1,700 households are waiting for affordable housing to open up so that they can call Flagstaff home and stay in Flagstaff and not be cost burdened through their rent here in town. Okay, 1,600 to 1,700 people are on that waiting list. Who are we to tell them no? For an infill project that makes sense. I really think that this makes a lot of sense. This is not student housing. You know, I've heard that complaint a number of times from people. This is not 4 and 5 bedroom, 5 bath, 4 bedroom, 4 bath projects. This is housing that the community needs. We talk about infill, we talk about density when we talk about sustainability, but when it comes to making a decision, we struggle with that, right? Council, I empower you to overcome that struggle. We need leadership today so that we can decide how we want to grow up as a community. Do we want to become the next Aspen or Vail? Or do we want to be Flagstaff that embraces our neighbors, embraces diversity, and gives everyone a place to call home? High density is needed. And again, the arguments I've heard just don't hold, in my opinion. The proximity to NAU and transportation options is a benefit and something that we should be excited about, especially given that this is not a dormitory style development. We need workforce housing. I really appreciate one of the public comments that mentioned that voices are missing at the table here. And Council, I want to remind us that we represent 70,000 plus people, many of which are working and don't engage with us on a regular basis or often at all. We need to remember their voices too. P&Z Commission had a very interesting conversation on this development, and I hope people had the time to review that commission meeting, because I did, and it was confusing. I actually picked up the phone and called a number of the commission members and asked for further clarification. And they too said that this is a good project, from the people I spoke with, that this is a good project, but because of the complications, they weren't sure how to really vote in the end, and look forward to our discussion. So we as a council, it comes before us for a reason, and that's because we are elected citywide to represent the whole community and make these hard decisions. The NIMBYism is strong in Flagstaff. I'm going to keep saying that, and it's alive here tonight, and we need to overcome that. I'm almost done. There is a huge need for affordable housing. I really think this project hits it home. I'm supportive of the density. I'm supportive of the infill. I think that given the changes they've made between the last project that they brought forward to P&Z and then didn't bring it to council and this one are tremendous. And I'm grateful to the developers for those adjustments that they've made. I really think that this is an appropriate development for this parcel. And I'm going to quote another public commenter who said, "Everyone deserves a home." Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilmember Shimoni. Vice Mayor has a question.